welcome back. I'm delighted this morning to introduce Kathleen Taylor, our social work manager. Kathleen, you are bringing in a new social worker, and I'll let you do the honors of the introduction.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be able to do this. We waited and waited for just the right person. This is Amanda Wolf. She told me yesterday she's been here for 5 weeks already, which I couldn't believe because it's just blown past.
Definitely.
But she had previously been in Florida working and decided she wanted to move back up here because you grew up close by, didn't you?
I actually grew up in Winchester.
Oh, in Winchester.
And that's actually where I'm living now. So.
Oh, you're commuting over from Winchester?
Yes,
oh, my
ma'am.
goodness.
But it's all right. I found that, came here and did the interview, and I loved it here. So it's completely worth it.
Have you worked in, now tell me what floor you're working on over at Garden Ridge.
I am on EB2.
All right.
So
that
the
is
rehab.
The rehab floor. All right. Have you worked in that kind of a setting before?
Yes, ma'am. In Florida, I actually worked at a skilled nursing facility, about a 176-bed facility, about 4 years. And when I started there, I realized that I loved it and I wanted to continue it. So I was happy to be able to find this position.
All right. So it's a similar population.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, that would make you feel more comfortable. 5 weeks you've been.
I know, it's blown by. It's blown by.
Yeah.
How are you finding it? Is there anything you would like to report in terms of your experience? How are you finding it?
I'm finding it great. Everybody has been completely very, very nice, very welcoming. I have a great staff that I'm working with on the rehab floor, so it's been a pretty easy transition. They've been absolutely fantastic.
All right. Well, that's good to hear. Did you go to school in Winchester?
No, ma'am. Actually, I received my master's in Florida at St. Leo University. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you been in Florida for a long time?
Yes, ma'am. I was born there, and actually moved up here when I was about 14. So it's been a split between up here and Florida.
Okay. But this area feels like home.
Yes, ma'am.
To some degree.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good.
She loves the traffic.
Yes.
I can only imagine from Winchester.
Oh yeah, 66 and I have become best friends.
I'm not surprised. I bet it was a bit of a shock. Since you had lived here before, in
Yes.
terms of the traffic.
Yes, ma'am. Luckily in Florida, I lived between Tampa and Orlando, so I dealt with a lot of traffic in the Orlando area, which is kind of similar. But every day, yeah, it's been a change, but it's all right.
You're getting used to it.
Yeah,
How
sadly
long
enough.
does it take you to get in here?
Anywhere from about 2 to 2.5 hours.
Oh my heavens!
But she's moving nearer.
Yes.
Because
That's what I was going to
otherwise we're afraid she won't stay.
Absolutely.
It would burn her
Absolutely.
out before she even got
Either
settled
that or
in.
you're going to have to give her a bed over there. And,
I already asked them that. I said they had a studio apartment. I was like, if you guys want, I can rent that. I can stay here. But no, luckily I found a place to live, so I'll be moving middle of next month. So I'm very
all
excited.
right, too close.
Yes,
this
ma'am.
area.
Falls Church.
All right,
Yeah.
good, good.
Yeah. One thing Amanda said is, because we have this whole social work team, that she's sort of experiencing the fact that the social workers are available across the continuum, and for the independent living residents that are coming for rehab, there's that partnership and a lot more information about that person
Yes.
to be able to support them as well as possible. So I think that's something that is a little bit new for you, is having that
Yes.
extra.
But it's It's amazing because it's great to be able to. Unfortunately, in Florida, these people. Individuals would come in and you knew hardly anything, and you get to see them maybe for a month or so, and then they go home. Here, it's fantastic how it's just kind of like you work as a unit. Individuals will come in from the independent, and you'll have the social worker there that'll be able to give you background, so you can continue to give them the same care and same appreciation that they had in their independent or assisted living apartment in the rehab unit. So it's been great having
All
that.
right. This team approach, I suspect, is hugely beneficial. I can only beneficial to the residents too, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's just more continuity, and you kind of know coming in what that person is going to want at discharge, and be able to work around those goals. So it does make a big difference.
Yes, I can
especially
imagine.
because people are moving in and out pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So it helps to be able to have that information at the very beginning.
What's the average length of stay of residents on that floor?
Well, lately, I think we normally probably 14 days, but a lot of times it can be shorter, and a lot of times it can, and less frequently it can be longer. So I would say average is 14, which I think is kind of what, since most people are coming under Medicare benefits, that's mostly, I think, sort of what Medicare is expecting as well, unless there's extra complications.
Are most people post-surgical? Is that the
It's been a
average kinds of situation?
It's been a pretty good mix. We've had a lot of post-surgical, but we've also had some. I'm trying to think of a word.
Well, some kind of medical event. Everybody's coming. Most people are coming from a hospitalization. Yeah. So with those people, it's sort of a mixed bag a little bit.
Yes, I can see that it would be. But it's from a hospital setting.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that makes sense. Are there situations where Medicare would cover it if it were not post-hospital?
Only if they had, within 30 days, had a hospital stay. So
Okay,
that's the
all right,
qualifying
all right.
event.
All right, that's what I thought.
And you have a 30-day window after that qualifying event, or after you, say if you were in Garden Ridge, leave, and then for 30 days you could go back in if something happened, which we hope doesn't, but might. So,
Yes.
you know,
Might.
yeah, so managing all that Medicare stuff is a big part of what Amanda has to do, staying on top of that with the rest of the team to make sure that we're following Medicare guidelines, and that our residents have those benefits appropriately.
All right, are you responsible then for the paperwork involved in meeting Medicare regulations? Or at least some of it?
A little bit with
of it.
documentation and things like that, just to make sure that progression has been documented, and Medicare kind of knows how the resident's doing along their stay there.
Okay. Kathleen, are you also recruiting for another position, social work position at Garden Ridge?
Yeah, we also have open our social worker for our long-term care, Rose Court 3 and 4. Those neighborhoods. So we are in the process of hiring a person for that position as well. And I feel like we're getting close, so I'll tell you more next time.
All right, stay tuned.
Yeah, but I hope I'll be celebrating soon to have both Amanda here and then that other
Get your
role
team up
filled.
to.
Yeah, have everybody in place. That would be very good.
It's been a long route.
It has. It's been a lot going on, and my team, my independent living social workers have been flexing over to Garden Ridge to provide support too. Before we got Amanda on board, and while we were kind of getting her up to speed, so that was the team. My team is fantastic. They've really pulled together, and they've done so much to support the residents throughout that continuum, which is what we always want to do anyhow.
Of course, of course. All right, so we'll await your announcement.
Stay tuned.
For the next one. Amanda, is there anything that you would like to leave us with in terms of about yourself? I feel like we're just beginning to get to know you a little bit. We know you're committing from Winchester, and that says a lot that you are certainly committed to the job. Anything else, Kathleen, that we need to know about Amanda or about social work?
Oh, okay. Well, about Amanda, she's doing great. She's totally hit the ground running, and
Terrific.
And she's she's always right there. So we're just completely happy to have her.
Good.
And social work in general, I think the one thing we want to talk about is since April 16th was a National Healthcare Decisions Day. Is that right? April 16th, 17th, something like that?
And
they extended it to a week. They did,
yes.
but I think it started on the 16th or the 17th.
I asked Kathleen if we should have a celebration, and
that didn't seem like the right word, but definitely we want to keep educating our residents on that. And to that point, we already did our Vantage Point show, which I hope some of the residents were able to see, where we talked about that subject, and also coming up on That's Life
on Monday,
we have a version of our role plays. We have more of a set piece, which has a little bit of story about how people choose their healthcare power of attorney and how important that is, and how it might not go exactly according to plan. So as you say, it's a little bit of a cautionary tale for people. So I really do encourage people to tune into that.
we actually have a plot.
We have a plot. Well, it's not like just the role play where we're kind of like going with the flow. This is actually a story, more of a story, because we really did want to drive some points home on this, as far, really, again, the importance of the medical power of attorney. And I mean, certainly that's something Amanda can speak to, because a lot of times when people come to rehab, because they may have had anesthesia, they may have some other kind of medical diagnosis that's impacting their cognition for maybe even just a short period of time. Medications, pain medications can cause confusion. So she is working with the medical power of attorneys very often for at least a short period of time, and sometimes more of an extended period of time, to make sure that the residents' wishes, preferences are followed. But that is that person's responsibility. So you definitely understand the importance of getting the right person in there.
I do. It's the advanced directives are such a big part of our lives that we have to take the time and go ahead and establish. You never know when something's going to happen.
Yes.
And when you're not ready for it, then that leaves the family to having to make decisions and kind of scramble to get things together. When advanced directives have been set up prior to, it's just a little easier. It helps the ball get rolling, and everybody kind of knows the contact and who to speak to, and knows the wishes of the person.
Yes.
So it's definitely a huge thing to get started.
I think you just brought up a point that I don't think we addressed in the program, either of the programs, and that I had thought about, and that was that there are times when the power of attorney, speaking for the individual, is a temporary thing rather than only end of life kinds of situations.
Yes,
Right,
ma'am.
exactly.
And
right.
that's an important point. Again, I hadn't really thought about that.
Yeah, it is, because I mean, a lot of times anesthesia takes some time to wear off, or I think again the pain medications can really kind of make things too fuzzy for people to be able to do informed consent. So yeah, but then all of that gets out of your system, and then you're back to normal. But in the meantime, if something important comes up, you want that person there.
Yes, absolutely. Well, folks, I see our time is up. Amanda, again, welcome. We're delighted to have you here. Kathleen, as always, good to see you. I think we'll stop now and have some announcements.